to you traders. The daily US equity open news is up on the headline feed and the research for you.
Good morning, traders. How's everybody doing this fantastic Friday morning? Happy Friday, everybody. The weekend is upon us. Basically, I'm looking at Fartcoin, Hype USD. On the 4 hour, it's still structured a little bit bearish, but what I'm looking at right now, we just had the PCE print, and it was like not really great, but we did have a pretty good sized move this week up. So we're gonna see if this right here is a trap. You have a 30-minute candle closure. This is the first time that you're breaking intraday support. You're breaking intraday support at Wednesday's low. Wednesday's low seems like it should be irrelevant, but we took out yesterday's low at the open of today's candle. So Wednesday's low is appearing to act as a potential resistance right here, as it did act as support earlier. This could be the breakdown, and then this could have made this a trap, and then this is actually a trap. So I can give you a trade right here for both directions. It's up to you, but the yesterday's level is definitely the level that I like it for both longs and shorts. So I'm still allowing people to come in before the New York session opens, but I just wanted to come on real fast and say that this is actually like where a person could potentially put on some risk. Make sure you're only investing or risking an amount of money that you can afford to lose. All right, let's take a look at HIMS real fast before the market opens. Let me turn this music down. Okay, so at any time if the music is aggravating, just let me know in the chat and I will fix it. So HIMS had a massive gap down. I don't know if this is on bad news. Clearly it's probably because of bad news. Let me see here. On June 23rd, Hims and Hers Health lost its partnership with Novo Nordisk, causing its stock to drop. Okay, so that's what caused the move. That's a macro thing. So typically macro things are pretty important. They definitely drive price. Got a huge gap. I mean, gaps don't have to fill ever, but they typically do. So I would probably allow a portion of that gap to fill before looking for shorts. If you could get back up to like 52.36, if that area were to act as resistance, then I could potentially look for a near-term short, like a weekly swing trade or something like that. But I would need to see resistance hold in this area or about that area. Let the RSI get back to or just slightly above the 50 on the RSI on the daily time frame. and then look to see if you get that resistance test. Like if you can't get above a specific level. To find a specific level, let's go into the higher time frame charts. We'll go ahead and pull up our yearly range because we definitely want to know if this thing is up or down on the year, as that's going to
Update from
give you
Punchbowl.
your
Laura
overall
Wiseman
bias.
reporting Republicans are on the cusp of a solid.
That's going to give you your overall bias, like your yearly trend. The yearly trend on HIMS is up. Well, let's go from high to low since we made the low secondarily. Even though this is an up yearly candle, a bullish yearly candle, we had an open, we set the high, and then we came in and set a low. So we haven't taken out the high or low. So we'll just mark this fib range as red. We want to know where we are in regards to June open. We're getting ready to be at July's open. We got 3 days, 7 hours left. But July could open. It's more than likely going to open in June's range. So June's low will be important. And on a weekly basis, you were down on the week. Remember, that's a big gap. So, and then ultimately we have a range here on the daily time frame around where you had the last sizable gap. Oh, where is my pen? Give me a second here. So you do have a clear and obvious range here. It's a monthly range. We just looked at the monthly candle and you're trading inside of May's range. So that's your range. You are range bound. It is a trending candle for the month of June because you did in fact take out May's high. So you're in a sense testing around the midpoint of May's range, an area that could be support if this is an investable asset, which it is. Clearly, looking at its lifetime, it has done rather well the last couple years, right? So this could be a viable opportunity here for larger investors. We will see. So I've got everything I need, right? You have a daily support level here. That's your lowest closing candle inside of the distribution. So we'll mark that just as daily support to see if that ends up becoming resistance in the future. So like, I could be a buyer of this in order to target gap fill or at least a retest of daily support. But I would not be a buyer here this close to the weekly open because the weekly open could act as resistance. So how I would play HIMS in a sense, since yesterday we did take out Wednesday's high, I would watch for a retest of that daily support right here, or I could watch for a daily demand test. So 43.70 or 41.98. So I would need to see price trade back down to 43.70 and then hold at an intraday, on an intraday basis. So like down on a 30-minute or an hourly time frame, I would want to see this area holding as support, and then I could look to be a buyer there with my risk situated down here. If you blast through this level, then the next level I could potentially be a buyer would be here. If this level doesn't do the same thing as this level, then you're going to get stopped out. But I do not want to be a buyer if we're taking out June's low, because you then have an outside bearish engulfing it's probably not going to make a bearish engulfing monthly candle because there's only 3 days left on the month and you're trading at 46.87. And just by looking at the size of the candlesticks, the relative size, the average, it could take 3 to 4 days before you're even testing 41.98. So yeah, I mean, there's two ways we could trade it. We could look for a short at daily support up here at 52.40, or we could look for a potential buy as low as 41.98, but nothing lower. I wouldn't want to buy it any lower than 41.98. I would need to see another support level formed. So right now, HIMS is not a trade that I want to take. Not yet. Just not yet. Good morning, Chase. Good morning, Bitcoin Jedi. Good morning, Bravo. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, everybody. I closed out the hype coin short, the fart coin short. We've been shorting, if you're new to the stream, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. But we've been shorting fart coins since 130, the $1.30 price. We've been hammering this thing lower. It's been a fantastic trade. We actually did not participate in the spike here, the long. We waited instead to take a short up here on Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember which day, but we did short this. I think it was on the same day that we bought Amazon calls. I ended up closing that position out last night because the 4-hour candlesticks were losing momentum. So you can see here, we lost the momentum. We did do this thing here, but once we opened the new candle, we were trading above 4-hour demand. So I went ahead and exited the position. And the reason, the main reason, it's from the fact that you were losing momentum to the downside on the 4-hour chart. But the main reason was because a retest of the yearly opening range, I said, could be support. And it absolutely was. So I closed that short out yesterday in this area, like around under $1. I closed the whole trade out. And I'm currently looking for a potential short today or a long. I'm not sure yet. We have resistance at the 2024 yearly opening range at $1.03, $1.03, 1.03. That's a good target on Fartcoin. I mean, if it could get up there, that would be a fantastic trade. So let's go look at what it looks like intraday here. You don't really have any intraday supports yet. Each candle basically has made a lower close, so you are currently trending lower. Since the London Open, this is your London Open here at 3 a.m. The London session opened up. You had a higher high put in on the day. So you since liquidated the day high. And then you tested this midpoint and it held. Next hour open and you got upside expansion. Since then, price has been pulling back off the highs. You did liquidate yesterday's high. This is not a momentous move lower. So if it is going to go lower, there is potential for a intraday resistance test first here. Now the point of control for the daily range volume is setting at $1.01. You also have yesterday's low right here. That's about it as far as intraday resistance. So yeah, I don't love a short from here at this point unless it clearly shows us that it is struggling to get anything going above this. There is plenty of downside to target on this because you're up 5.5% on the day. So, I mean, just to get back to bearish on the day would give you a 5% gain. You see why I like trading this thing? Like, literally, just to get back to the daily open would be a 5% move. This thing rock and rolls. I am currently holding a short on it, but I have that position hedged with a long on hype at the level that we're currently at. So these two positions will offset each other. I'm just trying to see where that momentum is going to come in, or that heavy volume is going to come in here at the open, the New York session open. We are going to immediately exit this position on Amazon. We took it on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. We bought it based on retesting the 200 on the 15-minute time frame. It was right in here. This is where we bought it. We estimated that we could get a $5 move by Friday. So we bought at the or $5 wide spread calls. What is going on? Where did my stream go? Huh? We can't be live. Something's going on here. I've lost OBS. There it is. It's live right now, right? Okay, so OBS is being real strange. Okay, yeah, I got it. Thank you. All right, it's working now, so that's good. All right, let's go over here. Okay, so this is the strike we bought, 217.50. So that's why you see this gray line up here at 218.28. We wanted to make sure that we got the money that we paid for the call. So we had to pay the premium. The premium that we paid was 72 cents. At the time that we took the trade, it was 2 strikes away from the money. Right? We paid 28 or 72 cents for it, and we needed an expansion up to 218.28 to be in the money because it expires today. So as of right now, since we're trading at 220.01, that would put us 2 strikes in the money. So we should get at least $2, $3 for it. I set a limit sell at $5. I doubt I get filled at $5, but if I get filled at $5, I will take that. Pay $72 for something and get $500 back. I mean, that's not bad. I would do that every day of my life. Every 5 minutes. So yeah. Hopefully everything is running good on your guys' end. I don't know what happened. The OBS just disappeared off of my taskbar. It was completely gone. And then I opened up the running programs and there it was. So I don't know what happened. All right. Okay, so we're waiting on the market to open so we can exit that Amazon long for a nice profit. And the fart coin trade that we took was very profitable. We ended up shorting it up here. And the market just opened, so we're going to see what's going on. As far as the overall marketplace, We are pulling back. As you can see, we have made fresh all-time highs on both the ES and NASDAQ futures, and you are pulling back to the intraday VWAP on both futures. We're going to give it 5 minutes to allow the volatility on the options to settle down, and then we will look to fill on that Amazon trade. So right now it's showing me that it's trading at 325. So I guess we can go ahead and see if we can get filled. Let's go back over there. Let's see if we can get filled at 315. If you want to hold it because it's going up, you can, but I mean, I don't like to be like that stingy. If I'm in the money, I got my move, right? We were looking for a $5 move. We got it. So, I mean, we more than doubled the money. Is it possible that it continues to go up all day? It is, but the yearly opening range is right here. There's a huge possibility that this acts as resistance, because this is the first time that we're retesting it since we broke down from it in February. So there's a huge chance that the first time we tag this level today, that a profit taking comes into play and it finds resistance here. Now, I wouldn't short it there because you're up and it's bullish and the momentum is there. So here's the yearly opening range right there. Here is the first time we broke down since we yearly open. We broke down. This is the first time we're retesting it since the breakdown. This could act as resistance today. Also, the S&P 500 and everything else, NASDAQ, all the tech plays have essentially been moving up every single day this week. Like, not Apple though. Microsoft, every day this week, just up. Nvidia, up. We didn't get our move on Amazon until yesterday. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get filled. Now I'm looking to see if I can get filled at 370 because it's continuously moving up at the bell, right? So I'm gonna throw out, well, now it's 360, 350, 355. I'm sending it. See if I can get filled at 355. Okay, my token has expired or is invalid, so I have to relog in this damn thing. All right, let's clear that order. Let's get y'all back over there. All right, let's try it again. We're trying to just get the best fill ahead of this level. And this is to exit. This is not to open a trade. This is an exiting position. Please do not think that I am trying to short this. I'm going to send the limit at 375 for a fill. And I'm out. So that trade is done. We paid $72 for it. We returned $3.75. And you can see how much reaction my big order caused. My one call essentially reversed price. I'm kidding. That's not me. It's just other people think like me. All right. And there definitely isn't enough people watching the stream to cause that. Amazon trades heavy. I mean, there was 13.9 thousand contracts at that price to fill. And a lot of people know that this is likely going to act as resistance. So, I mean, if you want to scalp it for a downside short, you can be my guest if you get an actual test of the level. Just be very careful. Make sure you're using Make sure you are using risk management. All right, we're not dropping frames. We're good to go. All right, so that one's done. Let's move on. We'll look for something here in a bit after we see what Bitcoin's going to do. We do got a uptick here on volume at intraday support. That is, see, I accidentally deleted this and I redeployed it, and it redeployed as different colors. So now I can't see these first two candles, and I don't like that. So we're going to change the opacity. Well, I got to keep one of them a little brighter. Okay, so that's a little better. Can I tell where my value areas are? Not really. So let me shade the value areas just a little bit more. Oop, wrong one. So that's going to be this one. There we go. There we go. So I can clearly see the difference now. I like it. All right, so that's what we have right now. Going back over to hype. So we didn't get a bullish engulfing on this 30-minute candle. If we get one on this one, then I would say we're probably going higher on the day. Okay, so the Fartcoin scalp was just stopped out because I had a stop loss setting at my entry, but I'm in the hype long, and the hype long is just at like close to 4 hour. Wait a minute, what am I? Oh, that's Fartcoin. That's what it is. It's a little bit lower than the 4 hour demand, so it's pretty much right on the level there. We did really good all week. Like, in a sense, we pretty much nailed everything we threw out. If there is a trade that you want me to look at, like something that you know is a trade and you're looking for a position, drop it in the chat and we'll take a look at it together. And if it's good enough, I will take it with you. All the accounts that I am using are all real money accounts, but they're all small money accounts. Because it's important for retail traders to know that they do not need to risk hundreds of thousands of dollars to make decent money. I mean, yesterday we made almost $800 and only used $600 worth of capital. And that swing trade on Amazon, we used $72 worth of capital to make $350. So, I mean, that ain't bad. That's more than you can make at working for a full week at a minimum wage job. You won't make that every week, but there are going to be some weeks where you make way more than that. That's the beautiful thing about trading. Okay, so on hyper, as far as resistance, clearly just being above this is going to potentially, the high of day is going to cause a little bit of resistance, but the June VWAP comes in at around 37.62. So I would probably target that at the like that would be my secondary target. Primary target would be just under high of day. So roughly about 37.27, and then secondary targets around 37.64. That's if it goes up. It could fail here. This could be a short. We just don't know yet. The market just opened. We do have a higher 5-minute close here. On Fartcoin, it's an illiquid token, so I wouldn't call that a higher close. It is, but it could be a higher close just based on the fact that it's got very thin liquidity. Let's get rid of moving averages. So 4 hour, you're above the 50 on the 4 hour. You're coming into the 50 on the 8 hour. Daily is still structured bearish, but you're above the 40 as you bounced off of it. So that could indicate a slight bit of bullishness. Right, because on the daily time frame, if you're under 40 on the RSI, that means the bears clearly, not only do they have control of price, but they have the momentum on their side as well. You're also testing yesterday's open. So, yeah, yesterday's open. I'm just going to put YO for yesterday's open. Yeah, okay, so there are levels to watch right here. I like Fartcoin the best for the short if it is a short. I haven't made my mind up yet. This can go both ways. Absolutely. So I haven't quite made my mind up yet. You're bullish on cumulative volume delta. On all time frames up to a daily. Solana is trading at day highs. You're bearish on cumulative volume delta, and you're testing the 50 on the 4 hour, 8 hour as well. So there's 2 time frames of confluence on Solana. Solana is only up 2%, so a fresh daily open test would be a 2% return on the trade. 5-minute high close is 142.65. So if we start closing in succession, 5-minute candles above 142.65 on Solana, we cannot short it. But if we only close 1 or 2 up there, then maybe we can. That is not today's VWAP. So we'll get rid of that. Let's get today's VWAP on the chart for Solana. And volume weighted average price says that order flow is bullish on the day, while the volume cumulative delta or cumulative volume delta says that price action is bearish. And it looks like it here. This is, I need to change that to red. That's going to screw with me super hard. POC has to be red. All right. I don't mind these colors that much, but that has to be red. I mark my horizontals with white lines, yearly opens with yellow lines. So I have, it's just my little style, I guess you could call it. Thank you, Heath. I'll see you back in the Discord when my civil life gives me the time for it. I hear you. Can you check SPX for today? Thanks, Heath. Yeah, let's go look at SPX real quick while we're giving things time. We're giving volume time to come in, and then, because we know like the first couple moves can typically be fake out moves, but you're still trading well above the weekly expected range high. That's this green line down here. This is what the options market predicted would be the weekly high. They were wrong. So call sellers are getting wrecked this week, which is a good thing because call sellers are usually bearish. This is your cash market all-time high of 61.47. You are breaking out. You're not confirming the breakout on high volume yet. You did get an uptick in volume on the SPY though. So basically today, for me to look for like bullish scalps next week, I hate that it's doing this on Friday. I would much rather it happen in the middle of the week, because if you get a breakout on a spike on volume, sometimes you can catch that momentum the next day. So we'll have to just wait. There's not really anything to do with it. I definitely do not want to short it, even though it is fairly extended, right? You're extended on the daily. You're not extended on the weekly. Okay, there it is. Yeah, you're just now hitting oversold or overbought on the daily time frame. I don't short overbought markets. It's not advised, because the momentum is to the upside. Okay, give me 1 second and we'll come back to that, because we are currently retesting the level we are looking at here. So I want to short Fartcoin because it's the one that has the most potential to the downside. Okay, so if we can get a retest on the next 5-minute session, back up to $1, it's a big figure number, I will enter a short position. Hypecoin, we're losing yesterday's low, so not looking great. Today, I could see everything pulling back because everything has been so bullish all week long, right? That's another reason why we're looking for the short on FART. So I'm going to go ahead and put a sell limit up there as to not get caught off guard. And I'm going to see exactly where that is. So yesterday's low. It's going to be pretty much the same price. 9996. The limit 9996. Small position size. Remember, these things move very fast. A $200 position with 20x leverage on this can make a couple $100 easily if we're right. You can lose a couple $100 easily if you're wrong. You do not need to go into this thing with a $10,000 position size and 50x leverage. You will get crushed if you're wrong. I would say you'd be moving at like $500-600 a tick at that size position. All right, so I got my limit out there. Yeah, there's really nothing to do on SPX today. If you think it's going to pull back because it's completely massively overextended, I would maybe wait for this current 5-minute candle to close, because the opening range breakout traders, the people that are getting long right now based on the strategy of an opening range breakout, they're going to be they've already gotten long, all right, because you've taken out this candle's high. So you've got a brand new 5-minute high, and you've got the opening range breakout heading in the up direction. I would wait for this candle to close and then sell it, and then have a very, very, very tight stop loss. That's the way I would play it. So let's go over to MES. The micro contracts. We'll do 3 days, so we don't have to worry about it expiring today. And we'll throw out a put. Let's see if we get a standard deviation move higher from this candle. So if you get another candle that's the same size as this one, then it might not be a short. If you get a much bigger candle, like twice as size, up to here, then you might be able to take the short there. But that's the only time I would try it. I would try it once and one time only. All right, let's see if we can get a fill on the intraday. This is for an intraday scalp on the ES futures. We're going to take a sell here. We're just buying a put, an in the money put. It's right at the money. Right here at the money. One strike in the money. So if it does roll over from here to smoke all the opening range breakout traders, then it should start rolling over soon, right? If we start to see higher closes, then we need to get out because it can continue to run. You have broken out. So like you're literally trying to fight against the trend. Since we did really good this week, I figure why not, right? I can risk 20-30 bucks on the scalp just to see if it does go down and make a fresh daily low, which would be 61.53 on the cash market. So you can see how you're still getting that expansion. So this could still just be running stops. Cumulative volume delta says it's not, but I don't trust the volume on that. Yeah, this does not say that it's a short. It's actually the opposite. So all the higher time frames says this thing wants to go higher. You made fresh all-time highs across the board, cash market and the futures market. Your apples and all that stuff down here. The only one that's kind of down on the day it's Tesla, right? Wait, no, it's up on the day just slightly. And it's moving higher. Apple is moving higher on the day. Microsoft is the only one pulling back off the open. Well, not. Nvidia also did pull back off the open. So those things right there isn't really great for looking for the short. If you look up here at the advanced decline line, you're also in positive territory and you're very close to bullish momentum. 1000 on the ADD suggests bullish momentum. So if this thing don't stop real soon, all right, we're going to get a fill on Fartcoin. Wait, it didn't fill. I've seen my price got hit twice and it did not fill. It got hit twice and it did not fill. There's the fill. Right there. Okay. So yeah, if it's gonna roll over, we want to see it do it soon, right? All right, I'll keep you up to date on that. So yeah, this doesn't look good for the short. It doesn't look good on the short. We're well above the VWAP on the futures. Well above the VWAP. I don't like shorting things like that. And you're getting upside continuation. So we'll probably end up having to close that put. It is down $9 as of right now, so we're not too concerned about it just yet. Right? Not too concerned about it just yet. Pepsi's up. Nice. We took Pepsi yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's stream, you can go back and watch the replay and get the analysis on Pepsi, why we took the scalp or the trade. It's a swing trade. It is not a scalp. And I would say maybe that trade is still good. All right. If this continues, yeah, we're going to probably go ahead and try to get out of this. I'll give it one more 5-minute closure, because if it's going to run stops, it's already done that, right? Here's your 15 minutes. The opening range breakout says to buy it, and they're making money. So anybody that's short is losing right now. Well, we're almost 10 points off the high. So let's wait to see if we can get that. So this candle's high plus 10 points, because that's where scalpers would take profits. Right here is as far as I want to see it go. Let's see if it falls short of that or if it just blasts through it. If it blasts through it, we're getting out. We'll take that loss. I want to see if it pushes up there, if it falls just short of their profit targets. That would be so freaking dirty. So dirty. All right. Pepsi. Pepsi, looking good. I don't know if I would buy it after this, but maybe if it pulls back into the 128.50 region, you could still potentially buy it. We bought it yesterday down here, and we're looking for a target of 133.51, and we bought way out of the money. Not way out of the money, way out in time. We bought the January 2026 expiry. Here, I'll just show you the trade. Oh, you're on the trade. Sorry, I was on the wrong screen. All right, so here is the Pepsi scalp, or the Pepsi trade. This is our position, 203 days out. We bought the 140 strike, out the money call. Wait a minute, why do I have 133 marked? Yeah, that's wrong. Oh, I remember. Because we paid $430 or something like that. What did we pay? $4.80 is what we paid for the trade. So I was saying if it got up to 133.51, you would make $200 or pretty close to that. And if it got down to 123.54, we would lose $100. So it was like a 2-to-1 risk to reward. But our ultimate target, like long-term target, is 145.01. And the thesis for the trade, or I guess the plot for the trade, is that we did an opening range, not an opening range break, sorry, a liquidation break strategy. So we liquidated the May low, seen a spike in volume. So we're assuming this breakdown here of support and fresh new yearly low was going to be a bear trap. So yeah, that was the plot for the trade. If we go look at our Fartcoin position, it's not working. So it looks like everything we're doing today is not working. Everything we did all week worked. So we got to get at least 1 or 2 losers, right? It has not hit the 10-point target yet. I would have taken profits there. I would not have insisted it push up 1 more point, right? There's no way I would have done that. That would have been well close enough for me to go ahead and take profits. This right here. That's literally a 1-point move. If you didn't take profits because you were waiting for that 1 point, that could come back to bite you in the rump roast. Halo, halo, halo. Is that a ticker? It absolutely is. It looks really bad. Yeah, it looks really bad. It looks bearish to me. I mean, I don't see anything to do here. You're bullish on the year, but you have coffee burps. You've lost the yearly open. I'm not lost the yearly open. You've lost the midpoint of the yearly range, which typically isn't good. You're bearish on the month of June, but May's low is still intact. That's a big freaking range. Last month's range is massive. Yeah, I mean, I don't like this for anything, not for a long or for a short. You just made fresh June lows, and then you gapped up. You held at support. So if support holds, you're going to get something similar to what we saw on Pepsi. Right? You're going to get something similar to what we saw on Pepsi, where you've got like a liquidation break, where it liquidates the low and then runs back into the range. I don't know that's what's going to happen, but it seems to be happening. All right, now we're down $23 on our S&P 500 put. We're going to give it a little minute here. Fartcoin is currently testing the dollar, the big fig. What's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin is finding support. Not really. Not yet. You are above the 930 open though, so that does kind of mean something to me. If it can't fail and go back under this, then I would expect it to go up. Volume spike on the lows. So could 930 or this price be a long on Bitcoin? It absolutely could. Especially since we're seeing the SPX be so freaking bullish. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it just looks like it's going to go up. Tesla did nothing the last 2 days in a row. Well, no, that happened at the beginning of the day, but yesterday did nothing. You did break down, liquidate post pre-market lows, and that's where you found the bounce on Tesla so far. I can't remember what the white line is, but there's a 50% retracement there, so that's currently acting as resistance for now. We did this yesterday. That's the weekly open. So if you start closing intraday candles above the weekly open, you could be going to close the week up. Fartcoin is literally running now. Running back up here. So you're above intraday VWAP. You're above the yesterday's low. So it does look like the buyers are going to win out here. So, yep. That could be that. We'll see, but it could be that. This is the highest close. Yeah, hype is rejecting the lows as well. Hype is absolutely rejecting the VWAP to the upside. Boom, spiking pretty hard here. And BSW, which is something that was asked to be looked at yesterday, you can see that it literally held the 9:30 open from yesterday for the whole day. So right as we were getting off stream, later in the day, this would have been your opportunity for a short entry. I didn't trade it because the volume declined so much. I don't know if I would have shorted it either, because you did get a very nice spike of bullish volume there. But you were unable to close any candles back above those two candles. So that could have been a pretty good indication that you were going to roll back over. I mean, you could have shorted the June open, right? And you would be up nicely today if you did. Everything is bullish today. Bitcoin retesting this, I don't think that'll hold unless everything starts to roll over here. Oh, S&P 500 just made fresh daily and all-time highs. So we definitely got to close that position out. Let's see, can we get long Bitcoin? I don't know if we're going to get a retest of that. Literally be buying the midpoint of the day too. I guess it's an okay area to be a buyer, because if you get a 1 standard deviation move from the midpoint of the day, that'll put you a target roughly around 108,500. 108,500 would be like secondary target, high of day, primary target. And that is about a 1% move on Bitcoin as well. So if you want to trade Bitcoin, I guess low of day would be the stop loss. Let's see if that would be a 1-to-2 risk to reward, or 2-to-1 risk to reward. Yeah, it'd be a 2-to-1 risk to reward. It would absolutely be a 2-to-1 risk to reward. And it would cover your fees, because you're getting that extra 2.6 there. Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft all pushing up. You're now above 1,000 on the ADD. So the whole market is bullish. And the VIX is currently testing daily highs though. Wait a minute here. VIX is currently testing daily highs. And so is the S&P. Generally, when the VIX is testing daily highs, the S&P is testing daily lows. So one of these is lying. That's Thursday. This is Friday. You're at the daily high on the VIX. You're at the daily high on the S&P. I don't like that. That sucks. Because one of them is lying. I mean, it definitely looks like it's the VIX that's lying. All right, let me get out of this real quick before it just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing. I mean, we're still going to be very much up on the day, because we're just down $30. $25 is about where I like to draw the line on like a scalp like that, because 10 points on the micro ES futures is $50. So half of that is $25. And it's okay if it rolls over and goes down all freaking day. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm more than up on the week. And I never like chasing price. So it's okay if it pulls back the rest of the day. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, volume's building up, but it looks like it's more buy side than sell side. Now, I don't know. It's about mixed on FARC. It's still more buy side than sell side. You only have one volume node here at the point of control where it's still a little bit more buys than sells. So the buyers are literally running the day on this. That does not mean it will go up, and it does not mean it'll go down. It's just another data point for us to help us make decisions. All right, Aaron, thanks. We'll see you then. I think it's live. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's back when the thing broke. Yeah, we got it back. Bitcoin checking 4-hour res for a short using 30-minute supply. Yeah, I don't love the idea of looking for a Bitcoin short today, but it could absolutely work. Like, I can't see into the future, so I can't tell you what trade will or will not work. If I could do that, I would be a trillionaire. If I could do that just once a month, I would be a billionaire. If I could do it every time, I would be a trillionaire. Yeah, but I can't ever do it. It definitely looks like it stalled out at the 786 retracement of May's range. That is absolutely where resistance came into play. I checked all the higher time frame levels. There is nothing here. There's no weekly levels or monthly or anything to cause this resistance. It's literally the fib of May's range. That is the reason why people are selling. We got there on Tuesday. We stayed there. And then we rolled over yesterday at 4 o'clock. We haven't been back. So clearly the sellers, for today at least, have been in control of price. You just made a fresh daily low here on this 4-hour candle as well. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. It looks like it, I mean, it's got bullish momentum even. So I don't love the short. But if it fails to close a higher 2-hour candle, then the short could absolutely work. That 2-hour res is also 4-hour res. No, it's not. Okay, good. Uh, 30 minute supply is kind of holding for now. There's 16 minutes left on this 30-minute candle. You're still pushing up on the S&P and NASDAQ. And VIX is coming off the highs. Farcoin is potentially stalling out here at point of control. And we still have not made a higher 5-minute close on Farcoin. So it was an ill-advised trade to take it down here, I guess. This is that intraday, that crazy stuff that no one can ever predict. You can anticipate it, but you can never predict it. What's dominance doing now? Dominance is down today. Just slightly down today. Yeah, I mean, the bears are not getting any kind of momentum. They might get the momentum, though. They might get it soon. Damn, that's a shitty close. Intraday support. Not really. That is a breakdown, but I don't love it. Testing 930. This could be a buy zone. Let's see if it breaks back through this. And I'll take one more shot at it. That's another benefit of using a small position size, using dynamic risk instead of going in full size position. This can allow you to take multiple chances at it without losing, 5 or 6% on your total account equity. If you do it right, like the way I'm doing it, you could lose 4 trades and still not lose a whole percent. And then you can look to average down as it, or average in the direction of the trade with a bigger size position once you start to see the momentum. But we're not seeing a momentous move lower. Right? We're not seeing momentum either way. That's a big volume candle there, which could indicate that the sellers had it right there. Right? Even though they're green, if there's more selling taking place in both of these candles, then ultimately you would expect it to roll over like it's doing. Apple has retraced. It's all the way back down to the daily open. And Microsoft is almost back down to the daily open. So it might be rolling over here. Okay, so let's give it one more shot. This could still be a buying opportunity, but I am not seeing any volume. I would expect to see volume building up here if people were buying it, right? All right, it doesn't look great. It looks like Bitcoin might be failing here. So intraday VWAP holding on Bitcoin. Thoughts on Tesla? It's not doing anything yet. It looks like the sellers tried to win out the day. They did get a lower low on the day, and they did get their targets, which was more than likely that pre-market or post-market from the previous day. So right here, like you liquidated this swing low and this swing low. And then you reversed. So it looks to me like the bears were caught here. They were caught with their hands in the cookie jar. So the bulls have got them right now. They've got them. They are stuck. So could you scalp out a potential bullish move here on Tesla? Yeah, but you're doing it like a little late. Opening range break strategy on Tesla would have been taken here. Because this is, no, sorry, here. That's inside the pre-market data. So right here's your daily open. Right here, this candle close would have been where the longs took it for the opening range breakout to the upside. And that's almost a $2.50 move. So it's not a huge move for Tesla, but it's a good move. Tesla's extremely volatile. So you've now liquidated all the pre-market data. Yesterday's high is all the way up at 331. That's going to be secondary bullish target. Apple is under the open. Apple is now bearish on the day. Nvidia is pushing up to daily highs. Tesla is at daily highs. And Microsoft is back up off the open, but not at daily highs. Thoughts on moving to Medellin in order to... Yeah, I'd do it. I don't know. I guess it would depend on how far the drive is. If you could be there in like 10 minutes, then that's an easy answer. But if it's going to be like a half a day, I don't know about that. I know what you're doing. Loving the daily streams, bro. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem doing them. Like I said before, as long as everything is good and running smoothly, I have no problem doing them. Can we look at WeRide and Intel? Yeah, we can. You didn't miss anything, Yusuf. I got stopped out of my first attempt at Fartcoin and Hype. Both of those positions were in a sense stopped out at break even. And then I jumped back into Fart short and got smoked. So you're not really missing anything. We took profits on Tesla. Oh, and we got stopped out of an S&P 500 short, but I only took that one because we did good this week with the Amazon trade. I generally do not look to call highs, especially when things are breaking out above all-time highs. Not usually my type strat. I usually try to get positioned for the trend. Okay, this is going to be important for Bitcoin here. So like, if we're a couple hours into the day and Bitcoin is still aggregating up and below the 9:30 time, then I would just say Bitcoin's probably going to be a sideways choppy day until the second half of the day, and I'd leave it alone. What I want to see here, I want to see the daily start to trend. If it's going to go up, it needs to get back above this, and it needs to show us that it's going to go up. If it's going to go down, I would like to see it fail here. Because we've already gotten the last bit of volume for the day. We had bad news on PCE. It wasn't terrible, right? But it was bad. So here's PCE. Here is the PCE data. So last month, we had 7% on the inflation rate. This month we ticked up 2 points. Not good. It's not terrible, but not good. And then your month over month, we went from 1, forecasted was 1, and we got 1 higher. So we went up 1 on that. Last month was 0.1. This month is 0.2. We went up there. So both of these are not good. Personal income, they were expecting 0, or we got 0.7 last month. They were forecasting lower at 0.3, and you came in much lower at negative 0.4. Wrong way. So this is a miss across the board. The only one that came in line with forecasts was the personal spending month over month, but even that was lower than the prior month. So in a sense, you missed across the board on PCE, but not dramatically, right? Just a little bit. So I can see today being a pullback day on some of these things based on that info. Is gold moving higher because of that? Let's see. No, it is not. You did not move higher at the time you got the news. It actually went down, printed a brand new low of day, went and tested the bottom trend line, and you're currently bouncing slightly from that. So I think the bottom trend line was the best trend line. It encompassed all of the wicks. And that's just your yearly trend. There's not one wick under that line for the entire year. So that is the reason you're seeing a little bit of near-term support come into play because of that. You just made a fresh high of day on Nvidia and then rotated under it. So there's your fresh high of day, and now you're coming off a bit. You are seeing an uptick of volume here. These are going to be short stops because it's more buying than selling up here. It could be breakout longs getting long, of course. And it could absolutely also be all the shorts that shorted the high of day getting stopped. You had an increase in volume to the upside. So if it's going to go, it could go. Midpoint of this breakout candle is intact. But Apple is still pushing lower. But here's the thing. What happens once we liquidate the low of day? And that also low of day was a gap fill. But it could literally roll back to the upside once liquidating the low of day. Yeah. But that could cause a little bit of weakness, but not if Nvidia continues to push up. And Ford was actually one that I was looking at for a second. What was I looking at it for? I don't see why. Oh, I was looking at it pre-market. It was testing the 200 simple on the 15-minute time frame. Ford barely moves though. That's 10 cents. Like, Ford is not a mover. Yeah, I don't know why that was. Boeing starting to find support, filling that gap from the tragic accident. TMC pulling back on the day. So now we need to wait for another consolidation period on this before we can look to add. And at this point, I mean, this thing is up hundreds of % year to date. So it's kind of hard to buy it. This thing done really good. This is over doubled since I brought it up for people to look at. It has done more than double. I would call that success. And jump out, you know what I mean? If you're in it, get out. You can always rebuy in or take profits. You don't have to get rid of all your shares, but definitely pay yourself for taking the risk. Coinbase is down 5% today. That's good. It needs to pull back. This was a very big move. Let it pull back. Circle is rolling back over. Damn it, we missed that one. We were actually looking for it to find resistance, and it did. But I missed that. Yeah, that would have been a beautiful short even on the open. It would have happened too fast. We probably would not have gotten filled, but it would have been more of a chase than anything. So I'm kind of okay with not getting involved. This is a very big mover. That's a $12 move. So that's a big mover. Very volatile. Love it. But you can see the sellers are definitely jumping back in on this thing. They were trying to do it yesterday, and it's paying off today. So if you would have got short yesterday around the high day, you'd be doing real good today. Has Amazon found resistance at the high day yet? I mean, at the year open? Nope. It looks like we took profits at the perfect place, guys, on Amazon. At the perfect place. Boom, struggling. Hype now starting to finally find a little bit of resistance here. And Mr. Fartcoin. Nice. So we had a little bit of a trap move to the upside here on Fartcoin, but it is starting to roll over, and that's on heavy volume as well. I like that. I like that. Is Bitcoin staying under 930? Yeah, it's been testing it for the last 10 minutes. So this is, we're getting really close to where Bitcoin could either roll over or take off to the upside. Let's go see what we got on our liquidation map. Ooh, big. We're setting right on big liquidity. This is why it's struggling to go lower. It already smoked the white hot part of the liquidity. But that's a lower high bounce, and you're back down. So I would say we're probably going to push. Where it looks like it's wanting to push lower. And then we can go check the liquidation map. Oh, yeah. See, there's a gap in liquidity here to the upside. And there's not one to the downside. Big liquidity lower. That's on a daily. 7-day, there's a slight gap. 30-day, there is no gap. Not really. So let's see. 106.6. That's where we are right now. What is going on with this thing? Okay, there you go. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, 7 days still looks garbage. All right, I hate it when it gets a gap like that because it can just boom, 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 boom. It looks okay. So the sellers have what they want to see. Literally, the problem is it's at the low of day, right? That's the real reason why you're not seeing sellers just jump on this thing. But I think technically they could expect a target of the 618 at least. That would be a 1 standard deviation of the size of the daily range that we already have. If you go from the midpoint up, so about what is that? About a 600 point move. So one more 600 point move lower would put you roughly down in here. And then that could mark the daily low. It's still bullish on the cumulative volume delta. I don't like this. This cumulative volume delta looks terrible for a short. Damn. Yeah, there's not really anything looking good for shorts today. There just isn't. Fartcoin is, I mean, it doesn't look like a short, but if it does get back to the open, you still got 4% to milk out of it. Because you're up 4% right now. We'll see what it does. So like if you got in at yesterday's low on Fartcoin, the ideal place to or time or way to, in a sense, cost average lower. So you jump in with that dynamic risk. You would go in with a very small position to open the trade, and then if it starts to move in your way and you start to see increasing volume and momentum start to speed up, you can then add on lower high resistance levels or lower highs. So when you make lower highs, you can add a little bit more, like another 25% or something like that, and then let it ride. Instead of just going in with a full-size position, getting stopped out, taking the full 1 to 5% loss on the first trade, and then trying it again and doing that again, you can see where you would lose a lot of money just eating 2 stops. Whereas if you go in small originally and you get stopped out, you're not really losing much of anything, especially if you're already up nicely on the week, right? Which we are. So this is why I've been kind of trying to switch a little bit. I've been playing around with this dynamic risk to see if it just makes more money than the way I used to do it, which was just taking the sniper entry once, eating the stop, and then just not trading anymore for the rest of the day. Wait until the next day to see if an opportunity presents itself. But like I said, if Bitcoin starts to rip because there just aren't any sellers, then these alts can rip as well. And the reason is because Bitcoin dominance is down on the day. So if dominance is down on the day, your alts can be stronger than Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does start to rise up, that could absolutely put a little bit of a tide under the alts. Yeah, we'll see what happens. What's up, Sloth? How you been, bro? Gold seems to be like a good long-term buy. What do you think? I mean, naturally, everybody owns a little bit of gold. Almost everybody. It's just one of those things that, yeah, gold has always had huge value in the eyes of humanity since day one, since Adam and Eve, right? I think I've heard stories of old preachers when I was younger used to talk about how when Adam and Eve were made, God had diamonds and gold coins and stuff all over the ground, like jewels and precious metals were just laying around everywhere. So even back then, there was a value associated with gold. And until there is no more people left on this planet, there will be value associated with gold. Now, here's my question to you. Do you really want to buy it at $3,200 an ounce? I don't know. I mean, it's been ripping all year. What are the odds it's going to rip that much again for the second half of the year? I don't see it happening. I think there's a good chance that gold pretty much stays choppy and range bound for the rest of the year. And my reasoning for that is because if you bought it at 2,500 or 2,000 or whatever, you're up nice. And you don't have to go super far back in time to achieve that. If you bought any time in 2022, you've almost doubled your money. So like now just doesn't seem like the opportunistic time to be a buyer of gold. With that being said, do I think gold will be more than $3,500 in 10 years? Absolutely. At the rate the U.S. politicians are going as far as devaluing the U.S. dollar, gold is going to keep increasing in value just based on a dollar devaluation. That is also why your S&P is up so much and everything else is up so much. It's from dollar devaluation. It is not because people think Nvidia is worth that much money. They know exactly what Nvidia is worth. They know it to the cent. right? So yeah, gold will continuously go up over time. So I mean, I guess I could justify getting long that way. But just knowing that it's already had such a massive move this year, I'm not looking to buy it on highs. I just don't like to be a higher buyer. I like to sell high. It's up there. Silver, same thing. It had a pretty nice breakout, but I can see silver actually getting another leg. I can see silver actually getting another leg higher. Look at that old school cup and handle. It actually worked. I don't know when I drew this, but I clearly drew it since before January. And then boom, boom, there it is. That's your cup and handle formation playing out. Longer term, it worked. I was looking for the 2025 yearly opening range. That's why I'm over here. So it's up nicely, but let's see, what kind of a percent gain is this? 24% up on silver. 24% up on gold. So they seem to be up about the same. They seem to be up about the same. See, every president that we've had since Bill Clinton was the last president to leave office with a surplus from government spending. You had an addition of $10 trillion added through both Bush's terms, but that was a war. That's the reason. And the great financial collapse also helped. But still, $10 trillion. Then you got 2 terms with Obama. He injected another $10 trillion. So we went from being a surplus to 16 years later being 20 trillion in debt. 2 presidents. 20 trillion. Then we got 1 term with Mr. Trump. I think he added 6.5 trillion. Then you got Biden, who did close to 8 in a 4-year term. And now we got Trump again, and his big beautiful bill is looking to add another 4 to 5 trillion. I mean, by the time Trump gets out of office, we're going to be in debt $40-something trillion. That is going to kill the US dollar. Maybe not on the DXY chart, but it is definitely going to help asset prices balloon. So, yeah, I can see gold being worth more money. And central banks were buying it up. The DXY, we're in a rate cutting cycle as well, so we should see dollar weakness from that. We are. Everything is playing out exactly how we expected it to play out for this year. Everything. So as far as macro, we did pretty damn good calling all these moves out before they happened. The one thing that I was absolutely wrong on was bonds. I was so wrong on that. I thought for sure we were going to see these yields come off. They are not. 30 years still right where it was, pretty much. Pretty much since the beginning of the year. So I was calling for a higher 30-year in 2025. We're barely higher. Barely. So I would call that not good, right? Not good. Because I figured by this time we would be up higher. We were looking good. It looked really, really good. And then we had Trump come out and tariff everybody in the world. That put a spin on it. And we haven't recovered since, and nobody's expecting it to. So at this point, I don't guess I can expect it to either. The 2-year is doing it though. The 2-year is what I was really focused on because it's closer to the Fed. It's closer to what the Fed is looking at, right? So I was telling people to buy the 2-year back over in here. If you did that, you're up nicely on the 2 years. So I'm not all wrong. The 2-year is literally what I was focusing on, mostly. And that's up pretty good this year. So I was half wrong. Half wrong. And the only reason why I said expect higher 2-year prices is because we're in a rate cutting cycle. The Fed is lowering rates. That should make bonds, at least near term, quicker bonds, go up. Where is the Fed fund rate? Right here. And you compare that to the 2-year. Damn it. That was not right. Okay, so let's get rid of the pink one. So literally, this is what I was looking at, right? And the Fed is cutting rates. So we were anticipating the 2-year going up. And that's what it's doing. So everything is working out as anticipated for this year. I said Bitcoin would be higher, S&P would be higher, all that stuff. And everything is higher. We made fresh all-time highs on Bitcoin. We made fresh all-time highs on the ES, S&Ps. We're up on the 2-year. Looking good. I don't anticipate any of that to change. We're expecting 2 more cuts this year. So if anything, this is going to go down. So there is still anticipation of higher 2-year bonds. But this could be already priced in. So last Wednesday was when we had the FOMC, right? So right now they're pricing that in. And since the Fed came out and said a 30 basis point hike or cut instead of the full 50, what the market is priced in, you haven't seen maybe all of it priced in yet, but it's close. Market is a forward-looking pricing mechanism. But macro's been pretty tight this year. So, I mean, gold, maybe it goes higher based on all of that. Bought a car with Bitcoin this year. About time to take some profits. Nice. I love to hear that. I love to hear it. I know people hate to sell the Bitcoin they own, and I also don't like selling it because there are ways that you can do things with your assets that you own, right? Rich people don't sell assets, not assets that increase in value. They don't sell those. They sell depreciating assets. And the poor people do the exact opposite. Poor people tend to sell appreciating assets and buy depreciating assets. So what I would have done was, like, if I needed to use Bitcoin profits to buy an automobile, I would have bought a used one, a cheap one that I could pay off. So that way I don't owe any money on it and not pay any interest on. That's the way I do it. I drive an old vehicle. I do not drive a brand new vehicle. There's no point. No point in paying interest rates. I don't need to floss wealth. I like to grow it. So I'm actually going to look into debt and actually seeing about putting debt on the assets I do own. because you don't have to pay taxes on debt. So if you have a way to pay that debt back already, like if you have multiple streams of income, you can adjust one of those streams of income to be the debt payoff vehicle. So then you can go get a loan of $100,000, for instance, because Bitcoin is at $100,000. So if you own one Bitcoin, you could, in a sense, go get a $100,000 loan on the Bitcoin. Use the Bitcoin as collateral, but just make sure you have another revenue stream that will continuously flow. This way you can pay your premiums on your debt repayment plan. You don't pay taxes on debt. So why sell the Bitcoin for the 100K and then pay the government 50K worth of taxes when you can instead use the Bitcoin as collateral, right? It makes more sense. You don't pay taxes on debt. Are you seeing a trade on H8 bar? Let's go look at it. H bar. I don't see an H bar. H bar. I don't know what it is. It's crypto cap. Is that a Coinbase? Down on the year, as with most cryptos, there's only a few that are up. And we're getting ready to change quarters. So when we're getting ready to change quarter, there's no point in looking at the quarter data. You can see the quarter data on a monthly chart. Where are we in the week? We're right now retesting the 50% retracement of the weekly range. So if this acts as resistance, yeah, there's a potential trade here. Let's see. And we rejected last week's open, so that would have been a better place. And look how perfect. Last week open. So this naturally would have been the place to look for that trade. This is June's open here. Let's go get that. Monthly VWAP. Look at that. Had I noticed H bar the same day that I noticed this playing out on Fartcoin, we abso-freaking-lutely would have shorted H bar up there, because it's the exact same thing that we had on Fartcoin. So if I'm going to short Fartcoin based on the exact same data, then of course I would have shorted H bar based on the same exact data. Now, with that being said, is there a trade to take on it right now? Right this second. Okay, so this is your weekly range right here. Notice how the 50% retracement of the weekly range is currently acting as resistance intraday. So going down into the intraday chart, we can pull up the session volume profile and see if sellers are selling based on the midpoint of the weekly range. It does look like they are, because your point of control is just under it. See that? So I could say, yeah, it looks like they're selling it. This was intraday resistance. Boom. So this, had you brought this up to me at 9:30, we would have shorted this today. Can I short it now? No, because I would have missed out on this little bit of the move. So you can watch 0 spot 14480 today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And you do not want to short it if you're trading above it. All right? So if you close a 30-minute candle above this white line and this red line, because you got 2 points of confluence here. So if you're trading above it, if you're closing candles above it, you don't want to short it. Because this is your point. This is the line in the sand, if you will. This is where you want to manage risk from. There's nothing up here really to give you an objective point. Maybe, what do we got? Nothing, not even on the daily. You've got old 4-hour support way up here. So that's it. If this is going to roll over, there is no point to close a 4-hour candle above the last 4-hour candle's close. Because if you do get a 4-hour candle closure above this one, then the next place that you're going to find potential resistance is going to be the midpoint of this breakdown candle here. And the reason I say that is simple. That's also going to be the midpoint of that day's range, because this is that day's high and this is that day's low. So if you fib the breakdown day range, that's going to put your midpoint roughly right about there. So if you're trading above on any time frame, I don't care if you're looking at a 10-second chart, if you are trading above this price, there is a chance, a probability that you're going to hear. So you can't put on a trade until you get to here. And then you need to wait a day or so to see if this acts as resistance. And if it does, then this could potentially be a point to look for the short. But as far as today is concerned, as long as you're not trading above this spot, then I don't see any reason why it can't go lower. And that spot is 0.14480. And those are all objective prices. No subjection there at all. So that's the easiest way to analyze it. That's the easiest way to look at it. I wouldn't jump on a fresh short right here, right now, because this was the area for the short. You've already expanded lower. If Bitcoin changes its mind and becomes bullish on the day, this will blast right through this point, right? So you just be patient and see if you get another retest of that. The best place to take the trade was obviously and clearly up here. You had an objective level being the weekly open, and you had the monthly VWAP. So I don't have any dropped frames. No, I don't. You haven't lost me. Wait. Can you hear me or no? Oh, well then you haven't lost me. Okay, you're worrying me here. Everything is running and I'm thinking I've lost the stream, and I haven't. I haven't dropped any frames. It's still going. Still streaming. Anyways, yeah. So that would be the opportunistic time up here. So this is what we're looking for in a sense, right? We're looking for these higher probabilistic trades. These are the higher probable trades. When you have stuff like that. Since we've already moved off of that, the high probable trade was to get short up here. This isn't a high probable trade down here. Even at this level, it's not as high probable as this one. Does that make sense? Because you're just right around the midpoint. So like, if people are in fact buying this, and it wasn't just a short covering rally that got this move higher, and we know it wasn't because Bitcoin also went up. Everything went up, right? So it wasn't just a short covering rally. But if they're going to buy it for upside continuation, this is around the area where they would look to be a buyer. The midpoint, the 618, and as low as the 786. But once you lose that, you can pretty much guarantee that there's nobody buying it. Usually the buyers will come in higher. So like up in here. That's where we would look for the buyers to show back up. And if they're not showing up, then yeah, I would say it's probably going lower, but it's not a high probable trade. And then other factors that you can look at for high probable trades. Dailies testing the 50 on the RSI, or 8-hour charts testing and failing the 50. Like, that's also a pretty good place to look. So you don't want to short it just based on the 50 on the RSI. You want to put that in confluence with a high probable area, like a weekly open or a monthly swing low, or an objective price point. The higher time frame objective levels, they offer more in terms of resistance and support. So if you can get a level like that, say June's open or May's close, for instance, or May's high or something like that, with a 50 test, then that brings in the confluence and gives you a higher probable opportunity. But nothing lower than a 4-hour. Like, I usually don't care about the 8 and 4 hour either on the RSI or 21s. Like, I usually look at daily and weekly only. But last week and the week prior to last week, we had multiple Forex setups that provided us that, right? We were looking for longs on Aussie yen, and we also were looking for shorts over here on Aussie yen based on this. And you can see that they did not play out. You did not get any upside or downside continuation. So we were able to take the trades, but we didn't get the trending directional move that we anticipated we would get. So it doesn't always work. Nothing works in trading all the time. But just looking at those few things can make your hit rate much better, because you're allowing yourself to be more patient in waiting for these things to take place before you're even looking to put on risk. So one way that you can do that, let's go up here. Let's change monitors. Let's go up here and look. So one way we can do this is we can throw on our monthly chart here. And you see this ticker down here, this scroll bar. This is basically everything that's on the week's exchange that's moving. So generally, okay, so over here you got Melania Trump. It's down 11.5%. Let's go check it out. Well, I don't know what's going on. Used to, I could just click on this and it would take me there. What's happening? Let's type it in. Well, naturally, we're not looking to do anything with Melania coin because it's already down 11%. And this only goes down, right? Because it did exactly what it was designed to do. Bring in the hype and then do the ICO and then yank the rug, right? We've been in crypto now for how many years? We know what people do. Okay, so this is deleting my lines again even. All right, let's go back down here. Let's go back down here so I can show you what I'm talking about. You need something basically that gives you all the tickers on the platform you trade. So that way you don't have to go through millions of different things. You typically are looking for things that have an increase in volume, had a big spike recently, either up or down, it doesn't really matter. then you can look, because you have elevated volumes in the asset already. So more people are trading it based on the fact that it had a move, right? Okay, perfect. That's one factor we want to see. Another factor we want to see is we want to then click on that asset and then see if it's around an objective level, or does my strategy fit this? So going to Melania over here, let's just pull it up on Binance, I guess. No, that's the premium. I don't want that. Perpetual contract. This is what I want. Okay, perfect. So I already had a line that I was watching here at one point in time. Let's just pull it up and see what we've got. So there's June. Right? Now, like I said, I'm not looking for a short. We're at fresh monthly lows. This has already done the move. It's already moving. But, could I have been a seller here? Absolutely. Yeah. Chances are we would have sold it here and we would have gotten stopped out the next day. But 3 days later, we would see that it's doing what we want. So we could sell it again, right? Yes, we can. Because at this point, we are objectively bearish on the month. So now when you can go down in time, if you can link this big level here with, say, a 50 test at the same time, then it becomes more confluence. Then we can throw it on the watch list, and then we can wait for that price to be tested, and then we can be a sniper and take the entry. It's that simple. That's all I do every single day. I'm looking for those opportunities. That's what I'm looking for every day. We're bearish on the year with Melania, so I know I want to be a seller. We did make a higher high on the month here, so I would not have wanted to be a seller in this day. Obviously, whoever sold up here got lucky. How many times did they lose before they finally nailed the top, right? That's why I don't chase stuff like that, because you don't know where it's going to reverse, ever. Let's see why it reversed here. Alt H, just give us a point to see why did you reverse there. Nothing there. Okay. I can see why it reversed there. There's the old weekly high right there. So it does look like they were looking to run above this. So I can't sell it until it gets up there. But I also have a weekly resistance right here. So I can mark this level. Now it's not a monthly level. Right? Neither one of these two levels are a monthly open, close, or swing high or low. And neither one of those two levels are a midpoint. They're only weekly levels. But look at this. So, if we go back in time, right here, look where this candle closed. Look where this candle closed. So on this day, at the close, you could have taken a short. At the close. Why? Because I'm going back in time and I'm cherry picking trades? No, because this is my strategy. This is how I trade. So at the close on May the 29th, Thursday, on the open of this candle, which was at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I could have taken a short trade the second price fell under 37.54 based on the previous day closing at the 50. So I can't short it hang on. Let me do this. I can't short it while price is above it. I cannot short it while price is above it. So we're going to go in time right here. I can't short it. Okay, so here's the open of the day. I know because I trade every day. If Melania was on my radar, like if it hit the scanner and it alerted me to the fact that all my parameters are up, they have been called into play. So I get the alert on the scanner that tells me Melania just closed the daily at the 50 RSI, right? Well, I can't take the short while there's wick above it. Because while it's above it, it can be running up to the next level. But I can take the short when it's under it. So 1 hour candles, 30-minute candles, I don't care. This is the open of the day. Just as soon as price traded back to the open, I could have hit the sell button at this point at 8 p.m. or 8:10 or whatever time it was and throwed my stop above this wick. Based on the 50 test. This is not a cherry-picked trade. It is literally, I've been telling you guys to trade like this for years. I could have shorted it, thrown my stop above that, and it worked. The very next 30-minute session, it opened up. The Asian session hammered Melania. They hammered her. Right? And then you can play it out. What happened? Did we get stopped? Nope. We got downside continuation all day. So, I mean, that would have been a trade. Clearly, I would have taken profits on this candle because this candle did what? Why is this candle important to me? Because there would have been a limit to get out of the trade 70% of the position size right there because I always take profits. That's a fresh low of day. So this candle would have taken me out of the trade. And then when I woke up the next morning, I would have been able to move my stop to my entry. And then if I got any downside continuation, which I don't know that I will ever, but if I do, well, I'm good to go, right? I don't have to worry about it. I can just let it grow or I can eat the stop. It doesn't matter as I already got paid. So literally, this is what I do. This is what I tell you all to do. And then people are still trading all these other strategies. You're not going to always make money with this strategy. It just makes it so much easier for you to find a setup. So watch this. This is an old crypto list that I used to have when I was trading on BitGet, right? So I can pull up this indicator and I can pull up my 21 exponential right here. And now I can just simply do this. Nothing, 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 nothing. Ooh, here's something. Why? Because we're currently doing what? You see this? Okay. Can I trade BITO? That's my next step. BITO. Over here. Let's pull it up. Yes, there's options on BITO. Let's go look at least 30 days out and see if those options are liquid. Are these options liquid? They're not great. Open interest is not great, but people are trading it. Next thing I would check is the spread. Is it super wide? Is it within 10 cents? Yes. This is 34. This is 49. Oh, no, it's not. It's wide. It's too wide for me. I don't trade anything over 10 cents wide. So this is too wide. It's not liquid enough. But if it was liquid enough, I could then watch this all day long for the close. I don't have to instantly react, right? I'm not missing anything, am I? Oh, sorry, you couldn't see what I was doing over here. When I was saying I can do this and this and this, I was simply just going down the watch list, looking for that. Oh, there it is. I found it. Okay, so this immediately gets moved up to the top of the list. This is now on watch for me. And on top of that, we got other factors here, don't we? Not only do we have right where we technically want to be a buyer, because why? We broke out above and we're retesting it from above. So if we're retesting it from this area to down, we know we want to be buyers. If we're down here and the indicator is testing it from underneath, then we want to be sellers, right? Because we're looking for the indicator to continue in our direction. If price goes lower, this indicator will break down and go lower because this indicator follows this candle. Now, this indicator is not going to print until this candle closes. So I can't take a trade on it today. Not yet. It's being tested right now, today. So there is no trade here. Now let's go find an objective price point. All right. There's the year open. We'll just, to save time, do this and then go to month. What do we got on the month? Okay, perfect. We're up on the month. So we're down on the year, but we're up on the month. Good stuff. Good stuff. Right? Are we above the 21 on the weekly? Oh, we're kind of testing it. But we are above this close. So that's a plus. Also, we opened way down here on the weekly. So there's a big resistance zone where? Right here. Why? It's last week's open. Perfect. We've got our objective price points. Now we can go back to the daily and we can say what? If we're closing dailies under 21.36, we cannot buy it. Why? Because it can go down to 20.84. Copy that. What do we do now? We wait. If it closes above it, then tomorrow, or in this case, Monday, if we trade down to it, we can then wait for that and take an entry. Or if you gap, we close above it today and then Monday it gaps up, wait for a pullback intraday and just go over to your options platform 30 days out ish and then buy right at the money. Because if this is correct and it is going to go up, if people are buying it based on the factors that we've already identified, then this is going to go up, right? If people are buying it because of the things that we've already outlined here, we're testing the 50 from above. We didn't get bullish continuation, so this could be a fake out. So either way, we have a trade idea here. If it fails today, then we can watch this level for resistance Monday and be a seller. If you close above it today, you can look to be a buyer Monday because you're above it, right? And we know traps exist, so we could even wait one more day. This could close down here today, and then Monday it could gap up here. If that's the scenario, then I know the sellers are stuck, and I definitely want to be a buyer because there's a pretty good chance momentum is also going to help propel it higher from all the stops getting triggered. I literally that's my entire strategy. Everything about it. You should be able to now take this info and look for trades. The only lines that I use on my EMAs, MA combo, It's a EMA/MA combo. If you go into indicators and type it out, where is it? We don't need that. Anchored VWAP, average true range, cumulative delta. I don't care about this. I don't care about moon. The only indicators that I use is session volume profile, average true range, and I only use average true range to help me find targets. Anchored VWAP, I don't use it because there's a tool right here. This is the anchored VWAP, so I don't need the anchored VWAP starred. I definitely don't need this starred because I don't give a crap. I'll see other people tell me about that on Twitter. I don't need it. Other people will watch it. I don't need the moon phases, but they're fun to play with. So we go into EMA/MA combo. Right here. Or here. This one's got 1.1 thousand. So click that one. Click that one. Once you have it, pull it up, go into settings, click 21, and then make a 200 on EMAs. 1, 2, 3, 4 are all EMAs. 5, 6, and 7 are all MAs. These are simple moving averages. These are your exponentials. This way you only need one indicator and you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 averages to watch. But I only care about the 21 and the 200 exponential and the 200 simple. That's why those are the only ones clicked. EMA, simple moving average, and then EMA, 21, 200, 200. That's all I care about. Then intraday, I use the session volume profile. That's all for just intraday scalps. You don't even need to use the session volume profile if you're taking trades based on this alone, right? You don't need that. Don't need it. This is all you need, these two indicators, to make a successful trading strategy. Now, it's going to be up to you to be mindful with your risk. How much are you risking? 1% every trade, no more, no less. 1%. If you can't do a 1% risk on the trade, then you don't trade it. You just don't trade it. But you can buy that or be a seller of it. Either way, it don't matter to us. We're looking to catch a trending move, whether it's up or down. We don't care. And we can be patient to wait for price to tell us what it's potentially going to do. We don't even have to guess. I'm not going to take it right now today because I have no clue. But if we close above it, then that means the buyers won out the day. So I can wait till Monday and see if it's a real heavy selling day. Because if it is, then today was the trap. They were setting a bull trap. So if you get a heavy selling day Monday, once you break through this line, you can then just buy puts instead and set a 1% stop loss. And then you will have entry criteria, exit criteria. You have it all. When do you take profits? Well, when it moves in your direction, you take profits or close the trade because you're going to be able to look for a new one. There's going to be opportunities everywhere. So there's BITO. That's an opportunity. It's been moved up. Let's see if we can find another one. These are just simple ways that I use to identify odd things to trade. But this one right here would have been something to watch for a short because we were retesting it from where? Underneath. Okay, then we want to be a seller. Literally could have sold this on the very next daily open because you didn't even get a wick. So I would assume this is going to have downside continuation. I would probably, let's go get us some levels here. Let's see if we can get some objectivity around this thing. Oh, we don't want that. You get the point, right? Like, yeah, I'm trying to help you guys become successful traders, successful investors. If you use small position sizing with this strategy, you will make money over time. as long as you are using small position sizing. You're not trying to get rich today, you're trying to get rich over time. Sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose. That's okay. If you have a 50% hit rate and good risk management, you will mathematically be profitable because you will have a 50% hit rate. If you're taking 2 for every 1 you risk, you will be profitable by 1 every time. That's the way it works. So that's what you want to do. This will be watched. I move it up. I want to watch this one. These two right here, I want to watch because they're getting ready to be a trade. Now, I don't love this one because we're trading right into support. But on this day, it would have been good. Oh, wait, that ain't a day. That's a month. Sorry. Here, on this day, it would have been good, right? It closed up, so we don't necessarily want to be too bearish, but if you're anticipating it rejecting here, you could have just simply sold the open of the day because that would have been the level to watch, daily res. So as long as you're under it, you can sell it. But let's just see if we don't have any monthlies. Damn, look at there. We got a weekly res. Amazing. It's almost like this stuff works, dude. Okay. So we couldn't sell the open because we were above weekly res. And that is the next higher time frame objective level that we want to sell. But what we could have done is wait for this to trade under weekly res and then hit the sell button. Throw your stop up there, 1% risk. That is much more than a 2-to-1 risk to reward. Much more. This is how you do it, right? Forget about order blocks. Forget about all the other things that you ever learned. It was almost a perfect 2-to-1 risk to reward. Now, this one is in hindsight. I'll give you that. And judging by the size of these candles, I probably wouldn't have taken the trade because the average true range is probably not going to give you that profit target. But let's see if it does anyway. So we want to go on the close of this day. So right here. 278. Would you look at that? It fits 242. So if we would have moved it all the way down to 278, we would not. Wait, that isn't working. Why isn't that moving right? Okay, let's try it this way. Oh, yeah, 278. Right there. So maybe you wouldn't have been able to get your stop completely above that wick, but you could have gotten a 2-to-1 risk to reward only targeting 3664, as that would have been good for your average true range. It's not a guarantee that a daily range will extend to the average true range, but it does happen frequently. That's why it's a good tool to use for profit targets. You do not use anything more than what your average true range says. 278, 276, 278, or 276. That's your profit target. So you definitely could have squeaked out a victory on that. Even looking at it in hindsight, it would have been so easy to do. So you could have just put your stop above this current day's high, not this day, because you're not trading in this day. You're on this day now. So you set the daily open and the daily high before the entry would have even taken place. So your stop could have been right here, just above the open. And that would have been a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So easy. You just do that over and over and over again. And then make sure, if you don't trust it, what I'm telling you, then simply use a paper account and do it with fake money first. All right? If you can't make money doing that with fake money, then you can come on one of my live streams and say, I back tested 700 trades and I lost money with fake money. And then I'll say, well, good for you. You didn't lose a dime. Boom. And then I'll just simply say, how can you make money using that strategy? Just do the opposite. It doesn't ever work. Don't just do the opposite. That's the stupidest stuff ever. But you can tweak certain things, right? You can add other confluences or whatever you need to do to make the strategy profitable for you. You don't even need to trade that often. It's just that simple. It's just that easy. And you don't have to worry about where the trade is or set scanners. You can set scanners if you trade everything. Stocks, options, Forex. Forex, it does not work as often. I'm not even going to lie. Right? There are many times where you get something like this, where it does it for 2 weeks. That's because a lot of people are trading it. And maybe you get it good. Maybe you got stopped out here. Maybe you got stopped out here. Maybe you caught all of that and it paid for all the stops, right? Maybe not. Forex, it doesn't work as good unless it gets into a trending environment. And it does happen. Trending environments do happen. They do. I nailed the Q4 short on Euro USD at 111. So we nailed the Q4 short and we nailed the Q1 long. So here's the Q4 short at 111. Would you look at that? That also happens to be the quarterly open. I caught that entire quarter. And now that was based on the quarter. It was based on the quarter open. It wasn't based on this stuff. But even then, we knew that the Fed had already told us that they were going to start cutting interest rates back here. This is why we were getting, or something happened. There was a macro reason why I was fundamentally short Euro. At the quarter open is where I wanted to be short. But you can look here and you can see when you would have been interested in shorting Euro. It does line up. Right there. That's the quarter open. At the close of this day, look where you were. At the 50. And this is the level you're basing your entry on. Because if you're going to get downside continuation, you want it to happen from there. I caught that entire short. And then I caught the entire long on Q1. That was based on the Fed, the Q1 long, not the short. I can't remember why we took the short. I think it was because we thought this would be a trap. And it ended up being a trap. It doesn't matter. It's in the past. But I caught all of that and all of this. 2 trades. Boom, boom. All because I analyze candlesticks and manage risk. I bought a car. Read that. Are you serious? Are you seeing a trade? I did not see a trade on H-bar. The H-bar trade has passed. 2 things that we will be watching is DIAO or DIAU and BITO. BITO's on watch for today. DIA will give it some time. Not loving it. If it can reject the midpoint of the week, then maybe I love it a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see. Right? We'll see. So there's the weekly range. This has to be green because it's up. So currently we're seeing potential buyers kick up right here. Oh, it's not the best. This is the better setup, not down here. This was the better setup for sure. But if there's going to be downside continuation on it, then we can watch it, right? It's right at what we would call daily supply, yada, yada. But I don't love that. I don't love that entry. Here's the 8-hour time frame. Look where you are on the indicator. So maybe I do like it. Where are we at currently? This thing is very illiquid. I do not like it at all because of that. How much volume even trades on that thing? Not much. DIAU. 3 million trades is all that's happened today. So this doesn't have heavy volume in it. It's currently testing hourly supply too. Like right now. I mean, as long as it's trading under this, I think it's okay. The fact that it's above this, I don't love. But this does look like weakness, right? It does look like weakness because you're not closing candles like this. Right? It's doing the exact opposite of that. It does look like weakness. So if this level can hold, this could be a potential short. It's just very thin. Liquidity is thin, so I would trade that with a very small position. Because if you do ultimately get a nice downside move on that, what could we expect more? Nothing today. So this would be for Monday. Even if you got positioned today, it would be for Monday continuation or Sunday. But if everything stays bullish, the shorts aren't going to work out as good, guys. That's another thing to keep on in your mind, right? If all the market is super bullish, then the best trades to look for are longs, not shorts. But with crypto, that might not matter as much, obviously. Just because the ES is up today does not mean whatever this is going to be up today. But it is a risk-on asset class. So when risk is on, you typically want to be bullish more or less. So maybe the BITO trade would be the better trade out of these two. So I don't love this, but I mean, it fits. I buy used, cash only, never in debt. Awesome. That's the way to do it. I'll buy Bitcoin once it hits 55K again, if it hits 55K again, not when, if. Right? It's if it does. And I don't see why not. That's a pretty good price for Bitcoin, I'd say, seeing how it's been trading above 55K all year long. What do you think about setting candle close stops? For instance, 1 hour candle close above. Well, it's a lot more trickier when using intraday candlesticks, clearly, because you have intraday stuff that you cannot account for. For instance, news or, just news, any kind of news. I don't care what it is. Any macro driving news event will absolutely cause you to get stopped out in scenarios like that. So like the smaller you go down in time means your stop losses are going to get tighter and tighter. And that's typically what we try to do most of the time when we're scalping out plays. We're using this fundamental strategy as a whole, but there are other things that we also look for. There are many different strategies that I trade. I'm just trying to give you guys a basic working strategy, one that you can implement now, right? And that can be your main way to search these things out at the very minimum. Then you can do whatever else you want to do to make it more effective or whatever. But when you use tighter stops, your position sizing is going to get bigger. So smaller moves will hurt more. I think people would be better off if they would focus mostly around the daily time frame, because just knowing how daily candles work, watching where it opens and where it closes day to day can kind of help you get a sense on how trading even works. You'll start to see it. You'll see a lot of choppy days. You'll see intraday ranges. You'll see big intraday trends. You'll get a lot more chart time, and you'll understand it a lot better because you'll be taking a much higher look down on it. Instead of trying to derange or devise a strategy around 5-minute candlesticks, when you're looking at 5-minute candlesticks, your time preference or your range of time is so small. Like using this as a stop loss, for instance, not good, right? Not good. All you need is a wick above that and you're done. You're out and you took a big loss. Because if you're using smaller time frames, you're using tighter stops, your risk is bigger. You're using a bigger position size. I know the 5-minute chart is where everybody wants to get good because it looks sexy when you post those perfect entries. But perfect entries isn't what makes you a profitable trader. I can get perfect entries every single day of the week and still lose money. I can show a perfect entry trade every single day and still be a losing trader. That is not what your objective is. Not getting sexy trades. Your objective is making money. So I show you my entry here on Fartcoin, and it is not sexy, right? It's ugly. It's fugly even. But here's the thing. I don't care what my entry looks like if at the end of the day it's trading down here. In fact, if I look at the intraday chart and everything still lines up and I still feel good about the short, I don't love the short looking at DIE or DIA, whatever it's called. Looking at Bitcoin now, I don't love the short, right? This is that intraday chaos that us day traders can never predict. We can never predict this. There is no way anybody in the world knew that from this point you were going to go to here, then to here, then to here, then to there. And you literally stopped out this swing high here, and then you literally stopped out this swing low here. You see what I'm saying? This is all chaos. It's stopping out everybody that took a trade all the way from 3 o'clock this morning. If you shorted Bitcoin at 340 and up, you have probably just got stopped out. And then what's going to burn your ass even more is after you eat this stop, it rolls over and goes on to trend out for the rest of the day, down. You're going to say, well, I was right. I just ate a stop. Well, then you're not right. You're not right. If you're eating a stop, you're not right. You're wrong. We are only right if we make money. And then it's not even about being right. It ain't because of anything that we did that we made money. It was because our risk was managed and we put the risk on at the right time. We had no way of knowing that it was going to be the right time. We just have rules that help us dictate where we think the right place and the right time is. It doesn't always work. But by being a very good risk manager, you will make money. over time because you will be right a lot. You just have to make more when you're right than you lose when you're wrong. Unfortunately, with most retail, it's exactly the opposite of that. They lose more when they're wrong than they make when they're right. If they could just simply flip that, they would probably be profitable without changing anything they're doing. Just by flipping that scenario, make less when you lose and make more when you're in the right direction. That's it. That's literally it. But intraday is too chaotic. It's just there's too many factors that come into play. You will do better by looking at the longer time frame. Look down. Look from out in. Don't look from in out. By only focusing on these intraday time frames, you're literally looking out from inside. I want to look at, where are we? We're inside of May's range, but we're threatening May's highs. We're threatening May's highs more than we are threatening May's lows. That is bullish, right? You're above the 21 on the daily. You're above the 50 on the daily. So that is also bullish. The bulls have momentum of this asset. So why would I want to short it? Okay? I don't want to short Bitcoin. I have not shorted Bitcoin all week. I have looked for other things to short. Do you see a difference here on Fartcoin than on Bitcoin? You should. Because Fartcoin is bearish. It isn't bullish. Bitcoin's up here. Fartcoin's down here. Now, that doesn't mean I will make money on my short, but by using or looking to short Fartcoin instead of shorting Bitcoin puts the probabilities on my side. Now the probabilities are, you have a higher probabilistic point or whatever. What am I trying to say? Why am I not a wordsmith? I have a higher probabilistic edge that shorting Fartcoin will work more than shorting Bitcoin will work. That's it. That's all. The higher probable trade on Bitcoin is up. So we would be looking to be a buyer on Bitcoin. That's also why we're looking to be a buyer Monday on BITO, because it fits the strategy. It's right now giving us a potential opportunity. So we want to be a buyer here, not a seller. And I don't care about what everybody else thinks or what everybody else says. I don't need to look at anybody else's analysis to dictate what direction I want to be on a trade. Where a lot of retail, they struggle with that. I go into Discord and I say, I'm looking for longs on Bitcoin, but it's been difficult lately because Bitcoin's been a pain in my ass lately, right? It's not been giving us beautiful, perfect setups. It's been choppy intraday and it's been choppy daily. The last 3 days has been nothing but chop. You're trading inside of Wednesday's range. Still, today's Friday. We should be making a fresh daily high or a fresh 3-day high at this point. We shouldn't still be trading under Wednesday's close. So I know I do technically want to be bullish on Bitcoin, but the only problem is it's not worked the last 2 days. The longs haven't really worked out, right? Because they're not trending. We're trend followers. We need assets to trend unless we're selling options. If we're selling options, then we don't want assets to trend. We want them to stay range bound so we can collect our premiums on the calls and the puts we're selling. These are things like sideways markets, you can make money. Up markets, you can make money. Down markets, you can make money. All you need is a strategy to get you looking at the right things at the right times. That's when the opportunities are there. So Bitcoin isn't necessarily an opportunity with our strategy right now, but BITO is. And we will know, or we know now, because we're above it now. So we know right this very second that we would rather be long than short BITO. But as long as you're under it, we know we would rather be short. But we're not under it. So since we can't predict what will happen today, we can wait for today's close, and that'll just give us one more daily close to help us with our analysis or help us with our decision to even put risk on it or not. If I think a lot of retail can just get to that point, they literally can change their lives. And you can unfollow everybody, even me, at that point. Once you know exactly what you're looking for and you only trade those assets, you can literally quit following everybody, because you're going to be putting yourself in the best possible position to advance in this lifestyle. That's my goal, to get you there. And that's the one thing that I think a lot of people have really not got for some reason. I haven't changed anything. Not really. I mean, the fundamentals have always been the same. That's also the reason I think the channel hasn't really grown. People just get tired of hearing me the same things over and over and over again, because they ain't making money, so they think I'm full of shit. But if you look at their, like, if I gave them the ability to do a one-on-one with them in their house, and they pulled up their broker pages and like blacked out all of the important information, social security codes and all of that. I don't need any of that info. All I need is a list of your trades. And then I can go back in time and look at why you took the trade. If I can't answer that, then you are not trading my strategy. I should be able to go back in time and look at every single one of your trades and be able to tell you why you took that trade. If I can do that, then you should be doing at least middle of the road. You should not be losing money, to say the least. If you can do it that way, just do it on a paper account and prove me wrong, please. Nobody has ever been able to do that. And the reason is because, like, on the Discord, I showed people the first quarter of this year, 0 deposits, only withdrawals. Are you doing that with your crypto account? Are you only making withdrawals? If the answer is no, then you are not trading like me. You know what I mean? Because I only make withdrawals. Only. I have only deposited once on the week's platform. And that was at the very beginning. Every single other transaction from that point over 2 years ago or a year, whatever, has been withdrawals. My Coinbase account is withdrawal after withdrawal after withdrawal. No deposits. Well, I take that back. There are deposits, but they're coming from one exchange to another, right? Because I take my trades on another exchange. I don't trade on Coinbase, but it's mostly withdrawal. You can get there. Everybody can get there. You just need to tighten the F up. You got to stop doing the things that are making you unprofitable. All of that. Get rid of it. Stop doing it. Do the things that work and then only focus on that. Then you'll get good enough to where when it stops working, you can see that, you can spot it, and then you can say, well, okay, since it isn't working right now, like I said, right now, Aussie CAD is not working for us, right? My strategy, Look at all this. These are called piano keys. This is chop. Okay? I can simply go to the monthly time frame right here, and I can show you Aussie yen is not working for me. So am I going to keep forcing the issue? Hell no. Hell no. Why would I? It isn't working. I ate 2 stops on it. I'm done. It's been here for weeks. I will wait till it's up here or down here and then look to take it again when I get the same signal. I'm not going to change my signal. I'm just going to be more patient and let the asset get done being choppy and get away from 94.5 for F's sake. I do not want to take another entry at 94.5. So I'm not going to beat my head against the wall at that price anymore. You'll learn to do that as time goes on. You are a trend trader, and you're trading trends from the daily time frame. So if you've got 10 days in a row like that, it's not working. It's not going to work. You have to identify that quickly, not 20 times. It didn't work. Heath, you're wrong. And I'll simply tell you, dude, I would have stopped at 2, bro. Like 2 times it didn't work. Okay, I quit. I'm not trading that asset anymore. I'll find a different one. I know. I'm ranting. I'm sorry, but like just these things, guys, you just change them up. Change them up. You'll get better, I promise you. This one has been trending. Euro has been trending. I missed Euro. I was looking at Euro the other day. I don't think it worked out. Well, I was looking at it the other day, but it wasn't based on that. It wasn't based on that. CAD Swissy, that one worked. Aussie CAD, not worky. Not worky. Let's get rid of all of this, because none of it matters, because we were basing our entry off of this point because it's the yearly opening range, and we were looking for shorts here, right? Then we would be looking for longs here. Didn't work. No. Nope, it didn't. Okay, so we want to look for shorts. If we retest what? This. Did it work? Nope. Okay. Am I going to do it here? Hell no. I'll just wait. Let this thing get up here or let it get down here. Then we'll revisit this. Then we'll revisit that. This one's been trending for a while. So you could have literally got in here and caught it. But if you got in here, you didn't. It's up to you to identify that. And you can, because I've just told you how. Like if it's still doing it, then stop trading it. Wait for it. Now over here, it wasn't a perfect 50 test, but it was doing what? It was holding this. So this right here would have been a good spot for entry, and it broke out. It broke out. That's good. That's what we want to see. Let's see if it can hold support. And it does. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. And then it took off. Like, you'll get better at it. Just keep plugging along and use small risk or paper money until you get good at it. Then you can start putting real money up and start watching your account grow. Then you will be loving it. This will be your favorite thing in the world to do, and you'll be able to do it quick. Mint candle close stop as the stop triggers. Yeah, I mean, you can use smaller time frames for sure. For sure. It's just, depending on how often you're putting on your trades will determine how often you're eating stops. It's that simple. Aussie dollar is absolutely disgusting. Euro Aussie, not really as disgusting, but still pretty ugly. No setup anyway. No setups on Euro CAD, no setups on pound yen. Nothing here. Nothing there. We got something here. No, we don't. We had something here. We don't have anything here now. But even then, it took, 3 to 4 days to play out. So we might have actually ate a stop on this one on this day right here. We might have actually took a stop on that, but I still would have liked it for another attempt. This is another reason why I'm introducing dynamic risk management instead of using full on 1%, because we're starting to see a lot of these things, like I said, get stopped and then work. And so we have to, as traders, change when our strategies are no longer working, especially if our strategies are working, we're just eating too many stops, right? So it does look like USD CAD is starting to trend a little bit here to the downside. Will it continue to trend? I have no clue, but it is starting to. So we'll keep Euro USD CAD on watch. USD Yen is ugly. And that's about the only one I saw. I will look on, because I'm going to wrap this up because I've been live for a long time now and it's Friday. I mean, we're pretty much done. And Fartcoin is right back to my entry. So clearly today's not going to be a trending day. So I'm not going to sit here and try to hold Fartcoin all day praying to God that it falls down, right? I don't need to. We nailed this day, so we're good. We don't have to hope this day does the same thing. So there's no point in just sitting in it, watching it not work. So if it starts to trade up above this, I will exit it again, and I will not put it on again. I'm done. It's the weekend. If there is a good opportunity to take on the weekend, we'll take it, because we do a live stream every Sunday. And we do look for trades on Sundays and Saturdays because crypto trades 24/7. We just know that our targets have to be tighter because the daily ranges are smaller on those 2 days. But yeah, if this doesn't work out like this hour or the next hour, it's time to close the fart short. All right. It's just that simple. Bitcoin has too much bullish pressure under it right now. But look how choppy it was today. Like, very choppy. But still, with what we know, we want to be bullish, not bearish on Bitcoin, based on the daily range, based on the dailies and the weeklies and all that. So we could have probably got long. I don't know if we would have. It was super choppy. Usually when we're right rather quickly, like real quick. Those are the good trades. When you're right really, really quick. 108, we knew real quick we were right. We put on that risk, same strategy, same things. We put the risk on and it worked quickly, rolled over quickly, and it trended down all day. This is what we're trying to catch. You will not catch those every day. So there's no point in beating our heads off the walls hoping this works today. If it doesn't start to work soon, we're just going to close it and be done for the weekend, because Monday's a whole new week, baby, and we'll have whole new opportunities. Will you look at Riot? Sorry. Glad to have you back, says Jakey. Yeah, we're going to do more live streams. My internet has been really working good since the first of the year. I did nothing different. They literally did something different. That's the reason. So we can pretty much do them every day. I don't care to do them every day. But yeah, I'll look at Riot real fast for you. Ooh, don't do that. Let's go first off. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, we're a doji on the year. Look at that. We're a doji on the year. Beautiful. We're very much up on the month. Oh, yeah, there's May's high. There's March's open. So we're trading inside of what's range? We're trading inside of February, baby. We don't care about March. Well, I guess we can care about March still. It's pretty close to February. Well, just identify the level so that way you know when you're looking at it. And the charts can get pretty sloppy. So we're trading inside of Feb, and that's Feb's open. That's where Riot is finding resistance. So the next place we would want to see support, because we got three big levels right here, pretty close to us, don't we? Yeah. Okay. So this would have been a difficult trade to take, naturally. But you would have seen, this would have been the day that you would have been interested in being a buyer. You would not have been interested in being a buyer way down here, probably. Maybe you would have. Maybe you would have nailed that daily support. Maybe. I don't know. You could have. If you knew that daily support was there and you were watching the RSI, you absolutely could have got long right there. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of resistance near term and really close. So this could stay choppy for a few days, few weeks even, in this range right here. But I do see many places that I like to be a buyer, not a seller, a buyer, because we are up. But we just got to wait for a support test and hold. Obviously, the very near-term biggest level to watch is going to be your yearly opening range. And you are working on, I would say, one portion of a first move extension. So if we are expecting this asset to give us a move like this and then another one of those, well, then we need to wait for this. I cannot draw circles with a mouse. I have a pen. I don't ever use it. I don't know why I buy these things and I never use them. I bought all the equipment to be the best YouTuber on the planet. I just suck at it. Here we go. I got my pen. Whoop, whoop. Let's draw some pretty stuff. Let's be pretty. Oh, yeah, baby. 60 frames per second. We're pretty. Well, yeah, we can wait for a beautiful little move right to there. And then we can look for something like that. Oh, man. I should have been a better YouTuber. But, yeah, for real. We're looking for a support pullback. And we like it here. We like it here. Here and here. And then up here is going to be target. Because it clearly is acting as resistance right now. I mean, that was the same thing we did with Amazon today. We could have done there with that. We would have been taking profits there, not implementing a new short. However, that short trade did work out, but the probabilities were just against it is all, right? But it did work. So this would probably be my target. My first real key zone to watch would be daily support coming from this candle. Because in this move higher, this is the lowest closing bearish candle. So that, I don't want to see price trading under it. It would be super, super nice if we could get a test of this with this being closer to this, but it probably won't. So around $10, 10.06, if that area acts as support or a test of the 21 moving forward, we could potentially be a buyer. But it would be nice to be able to get a confluent objective level mixed in with the 21 exponential retest to then buy it. And we'll see if it gives us that. It may not. The move already might be going and you might miss it, right? But that's okay. You don't need to FOMO into Riot. You can just wait for the opportunity. and then take it when you get the opportunity. I don't really see the opportunity right here, right now. Not with my rules. If you want to buy breakouts, then wait until 1087 and just make sure you got an influx of volume with the breakout. You want to see an elevated volume candle with the breakout. I don't know if you'll get a massive volume candle because this is the only time you've tagged that level. So it hasn't put enough volume at that level yet to get a huge volume spike to break it. You know what I'm saying? Like every swing high is not treated equally in this game. Like this swing high here, you did not get big, huge volume confirmations. Not on this day or this day or this day. The volume was relatively equal, the same. So kind of not showing you like, hey, look at me, right? When you see the hey, look at me volume spikes, those are the times to get interested. But even if you did buy it yesterday, because it looked like you were having elevated volume, you really didn't get any upside continuation today. So you're still just holding, waiting, kind of like what we did with Amazon. We just had to hold and wait, and we got out perfectly, almost nailed the daily high. That's sexy. I know. Love it. But yeah, I would give it time. It's not there yet. 1 hour is just an example. It can be a candle close stop at day. Never mind, though. I get what you're saying, and my answer to you is yes, absolutely. You can use literally any time frame to put a stop over. Any swing high or any close. You know, it's just going to be relative with what data you currently have when you put on the trade. That's the answer. I'm not going to put a stop, say, under, like if I wanted to get long Amazon today, I'm not going to look to take an entry where I have to put my stop all the way under that daily low. I would much rather find something intraday to find a level to put my stop under. Right? This is that daily low. So I don't really have anything here to base a long trade on and throw a stop under. Not on the hourly. Okay, the 15-minute could give you or the 30-minute could give you a tighter entry. You could enter that, put your stop there. But when you do that, all I'm trying to get through to you is you can get stopped out much quicker and easier. Like it's going to be much harder for price to go down here than it is for it to go right to there. But yeah, any time frame, any swing low or any close relative to your direction, your position can be used as a stop. I can't tell you if it's going to get stopped out. That's the seeing into the future stuff that we cannot do. Like even when I put on a trade, just because it's my strategy, my rules, and I have multiple confluences, I still never know that the trade will work. I never know if that stop will get hit. I never know if my target will get hit. I just have to put it on where my rules tell me to put it on and wait for time to do its thing. And if I'm right, it'll go up and hit my target. If I'm wrong, it'll go down and hit my stop. Regardless, what is more important with a stop loss isn't really where you put it as much as how much are you going to lose if it gets triggered. That's the important thing when it comes to a stop loss. Not where it is, how much are you going to lose if it gets hit? Then that will dictate the position sizing and it will dictate literally everything. Like right now, I'm getting ready to end the stream. I'm just simply going to throw a stop loss over the last hour's high on Fartcoin right now. because this is my entry. So I'm just going to put my stop here. Because if we're taking out this bullish trending candles high, then I no longer want to be short because it is not going in my direction. What should be happening is this low should be getting taken out because I'm short. And it did work out because we entered over here on this candle. We had no way of knowing that this would happen. No way. We were hoping that this would happen. You know what I mean? But it didn't. There's no way to know what's going to happen. We just have to, try our best to make a plan, a trading plan that accounts for some potential volatility that we don't know might happen. And that's all managing risk. That's all encompassed in the managing risk. You've got 13 minutes left on this closure. This is a 30-minute candle. If you can't close under the midpoint even of this candle, then your probabilities are getting less good as time goes on. You need to close under the midpoint of this candle. That has to happen. And if it doesn't, you need the very next one to do it. You see what I'm saying? The thing with trading is always, it's always both sides. It's always a range from this red line. This red line is where price is currently trading. There's always two sides of it. Always. Because the markets trade up and down, up and down, up and down as time goes on. So we're trying to see that there are more sellers in the asset. And we were getting that all morning. It's just once price got down here, the sellers ran dry. The selling stopped. And for whatever reason, the buying picked up. And since the buying picked up and you've got this big booster candle here, now people are going to get long at this white line. People that think this is going higher today for the rest of the day are going to take trades on this level because it is the VWAP. I don't know if they're going to make money or not, but they will try it. Some people will. And if there's more buyers than sellers at this VWAP price, then price is going to aggregate higher. That's the problem. We can't ever know. Ave might be getting rejected at the monthly VWAP. Let's go look at Ave and then we'll wrap it up. AAVEUSD. I always like to use Coinbase if I can to look at them because Coinbase has a lot of participants. So you said monthly VWAP. Let's go look. What is this? Get rid of that. I don't know what that even was. All right, so monthly VWAP anchored to the monthly open. Done. We kind of need to make sure, though, don't we? It did it. Let's pull it down and go to the open. Yeah, perfect. So, yeah, it does look like it, but I see something you don't. What is it? What do I see that you don't? Because you're thinking, hey, I can jump on this as a short right now because it might be rejecting the VWAP. This is a daily candle. This is a bullish engulfing daily candle. And it came in at support. As of right now, there are more buyers in Aave than sellers. Here's your cumulative volume delta. Ooh, that's heavy bullish, not bearish. So there's a lot more buying taking place in the volume than selling. You don't need cumulative volume delta to tell you that. The candles are telling you that because the candles are going up. They are not going down. Now, with that being said, could a lot of sellers show up there? Yes, they could. Will they? I don't know. The majority of the volume has traded here and here today. So right here is your value area high. And this is your value area low. Value area high, value area low. Is price above it or below it? It's above value area high. So up until this point, there's been more buying taking place inside of Aave's range because price is aggregating higher. What you need to see is a big volume spike here. You are getting it. There is volume coming in here to short this based on that, probably. This is June's open. So, I mean, I'm not saying the short can't work, but you took out yesterday's low and the important part, you've also taken out yesterday's high. So anybody that shorted Wednesday or Tuesday are going to have to make a decision soon, right? Because their trade is no longer working or is being threatened at the very least. It could still work out, but they're going to have to start making a decision if this thing keeps going up. And that will drive more buy-side liquidity because anybody that's short here and here are going to have to re-enter the market with a buy. So any of the short selling that helped price go lower, they're going to have to now make a decision if they're still in the trade. So that in itself could cause more buying pressure once it gets up there. Just keep that in mind. You've already taken out yesterday's high. I typically wouldn't want to see that happen this late in the session. If I was going to be shorting it based on that, I would want to be able to target yesterday's low. Yesterday's low target has already been hit, and it was not hit from sellers. Yesterday's low got hit, but then the buyers showed up. The buyers have been forcing price higher all day. So all day, the buyers have been winning. Let's see what we got over here. You're well above this. Well above it. Let's see where you are on the 8 hour. Okay, so yeah, this doesn't look like a sell to me, bro. This looks like a a buy. So like, here's your expansion candle here. This is a pullback candle, because it's up in the top 2/3 of the range. It's up in the top half of this bullish range. You're going to have buyers coming in here. It's right at the value area high. People will buy the value area high. They'll buy this. This is more of a bullish structure than a bearish structure. It did hold at resistance, but it closed right at it. I wouldn't call that a rejection. I wouldn't call this a rejection yet. Not until I started to see movement get away from that candle's midpoint. What does the 4 hour look like? Bullish, bullish, bullish. Yeah, this is a lower high, but it doesn't look super bearish to me. Look at the sell side. This candle just opened, to be fair. Let's see if we can go in a little bit. Okay, so maybe the sellers are showing up, but you've got 5 minutes left on this candle. You're at the midpoint of this 30-minute candle. Look at the buy volume. Look how much sell side volume. And there's only 5 minutes left. I would want to see this look like this at this point if I want to sell this. I would need to see a bigger volume spike. And if that was the scenario, then you would probably be much lower already, because the big selling would have transpired on a smaller time frame. Like, the only reason this isn't going up is because I can argue that the buyers have just let up. It's not because the sellers are winning. The volume is declining as price is moving lower. If the sellers have control, you would want to see selling going up as prices go lower. This is what's considered a pullback. I wouldn't sell it. But you could be right. I'm not telling you not to take the trade, because I can't see into the future. Just with my experience, like, it's not a short for me. But it arguably could be for you, and it could work. I have no clue. Here's the thing. It doesn't really matter what has happened in the daily range either. Because if the sellers show up right now, this second, and you start seeing big chunks of volume come in here, and price starts to swing lower and lower, then you can argue and say, okay, now the sellers are showing up. But as of right now, we're not seeing that. Maybe you see that in the next few minutes. I don't know. But as of right now, that ain't happening. And Bitcoin's back to up again. Like I said, like, the sellers are stuck. Anybody that's short is now stuck. So if anything, that's just going to pull in more buy volume. Like, anybody that shorted here and didn't take profits down here or down here, and they're still in the trade, now they're losing money. So what's going to happen to force them out? Well, if price goes up higher and higher and higher, it will end up forcing them out because of human emotion. So anybody that shorted Bitcoin after 3 o'clock this morning, if prices continue to move up, it's going to bring in more buy volume, because buy volume is the way they have to get out of their trade. It's just going to inherently cause more buying pressure. So just be careful. Be careful. It's just a Friday. It's just a Friday. It's a typical Friday, right? Markets are bullish. Everybody's super bullish out there. I mean, you're at a 1200 ADD now. You're still making fresh intraday highs on risk. I mean, wrong one. Over here, look at this. The S&P 500 just making fresh daily highs all day long. That's not what you want to keep trying to short. I took one shot at it. I was wrong. I'm out. I'm not going to continuously try to short this thing all day, because I'm afraid I'm going to miss the short. Nah, not happening. I'll wait. I'll wait until I get a clear and obvious sell signal to be a seller on the S&P. We're not getting that. We're not really getting that on the NQ. Your ADD's super positive. Bitcoin looks good intraday. Like, it's now starting to advance. Gold is pulling back, which is more bullish than bearish for risk assets. Though anybody that's taking profit on gold right now, potentially rotating back into risk. Nvidia is making fresh daily all-time highs. I mean, all these things are bullish. These are all bullish signals and factors. So we got to be careful when looking for the shorts. That's why it's best to look for the weak assets when looking for shorts. And it's even better when looking for shorts if you find a weak asset, or an asset that has been weak and is now testing a resistance level and the markets are all bearish. Like, those are the best times to look for shorts. We should be buying a lot of things, not selling them. That's why we only took one short today. Well, two, but the one was a dumb move by me. And that short isn't working. It did work briefly. It is not working now. This was up into profits by like $150 earlier. Just wasn't enough. That's my risk unit. So that would have been a 1-to-1. I was looking for a 2-to-1 risk to reward to take profits. So around $300. If it would have just kept going down, give me one more candle this size down here, and I would have been able to exit the trade. It stopped just short and is now forcing me to do what? Close it out, right? Yeah, I would not put on a fresh short today because of all of these reasons. But it doesn't mean it won't work. All right, you guys have I did take a quick scalp and got out. I just like to trade pullbacks into key fib levels. If it works, keep doing it. I'm a strong proponent of if it isn't broke, don't fix it, right? If you're making money, keep doing whatever you're doing. I'm basically trying to help those that are not making money that hear my voice. Those are the people that need help. Those are the ones that I need to reach. All right, we'll end it with that. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Have a fantastic weekend. If everything goes smooth, we'll see you Monday morning. You guys make sure you trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.